Like it or not, if you're a baby boomer, you're now outnumbered. Millennials edged out boomers as the biggest segment of population in this country. Like age groups before them, they bring a distinct perspective. We're taking a closer look at Generation Now. Our centerpiece story is Millennial on a Mission. We sit down with it girl Lauren Bush Lauren. Born into privilege, she's using her high profile for good.
I felt that for myself and for my peers, we wanted to give back and make the world a better place. We didn't want to wait until later.
Then another thing millennials are known for is being in touch, always, everywhere. An expert weighs in on how they're making a modern connection. Plus, some things never get old. Love for the ages is a love story for every generation. We'll have those stories along with the latest in our Positively Healthy Medical series. I'm Amy Osher, and this is Behind the Headlines. I'm Amy Osher. Thanks for joining us. Politics, style, and celebrity often converge in our society with mixed success, but in the case of Lauren Bush Lauren, the blend may be the best of all worlds. As her name implies, she is surrounded by iconic families. Part of the presidential Bush clan, Lauren is a granddaughter of George H. Bush and niece of George W. She's also married to David Lauren, son of designer Ralph Lauren. Famous names aside, Lauren Bush Lauren is an accomplished woman in her own right, graduating from Princeton, then launching a business. As a former model, she created a socially conscious fashion brand aimed at feeding impoverished children around the world. I had a one-on-one opportunity to sit down with Lauren and talk about her design for giving back. Lauren, given your background and your education, you could have gone any number of ways when you got out of college. What made you pursue the charitable aspect?
It really came from a very personal, sort of life-changing experience I had of being able to start travel with the UN World Food Program when I was actually a student in college. And through that experience of going on trips around the world, but also kind of learning about some of the issues we face here in terms of hunger, I knew something in my life, would be revolved around giving back and trying to help solve this problem. I didn't quite know what it was. I did graduate actually from college with the idea for the first feed bag, but I hadn't quite envisioned
the
truly,
scope that it would take you?
the scope where it could truly go and what it could become.
What's so interesting, and it's probably due to your time spirit and your age somewhat, is that a lot of people go out into business, they're entrepreneurs, and based on their success, when they get older, maybe as a second act, they get very involved in philanthropy. Mm-hmm. What made you think that you could accomplish it at the same time?
It's funny, early on, I had my first bag prototype and I was trying to get advice from different people. And there were some of the, older folks that I spoke to that said, go make money, go get your regular career path going, and then give back. And it didn't sit right with me. I felt that for myself and for my peers, we wanted to give back and make the world a better place. We didn't want to wait until later. But we didn't have a massive checkbook. We couldn't write a big donation or attend a big gala. So how would we do it? And that's when I thought of the idea for Feed as that consumer goods way for people to put their consumer dollars into doing something good as well.
Now, is your brand kind of dependent upon fellow millennials? Because we all know that they purchase or choose not to purchase, sometimes based on their social philosophy.
I think so. I really was creating something that I myself, as a millennial shopper, wanted to buy. But definitely, millennials are sort of our core demographic, if you will. But I would say it's more millennial mindset in some ways. Like many shoppers are older and younger. It's truly kind of this movement of conscious consumerism and people saying, gosh, I want a great product at a good price and good quality, and all that still stands first and foremost. But if it gives back, it's really the icing on the cake.
Can you talk about how Feed developed and what really the mission is and where it is right now?
Sure. So I started Feed almost 10 years ago, this year, which is crazy. And the mission is to create good products that help feed the world. So started with just this one Feed One bag, which I again conceptualized in college after having traveled to different countries around the world with the World Food Program. And what I was surprised by during my travels is how little money goes so far. So each Feed One bag feeds one child in school for 1 year. So consumers know there's a big one stamped on it.
I was going to say, I thought it had that, which made it really cool, the identifier on it about what it was doing.
Yeah, I think it's just so important to have that transparency. Again, millennials, I think, really gravitate towards that. It's not a percentage of profits or proceeds, which is lovely and wonderful. It's like, this product is doing exactly this. So that's where we started, the Feed One bag, and it's kind of grown from there, but the model continues to be the same. Every product we make and sell, there's a number on it, and that signifies the amount of meals you're donating essentially through making that purchase.
Now, how do you measure success? Because you have so many metrics with what you're trying to do that can add up to success. What's success for you?
I know, it's on many different levels, if you will. I mean, truly though, when we can build a better business and build a better brand and sell more products, we can get more meals. So, succeeding in one area helps us succeed in the impact.
And you haven't stopped from there. Can you talk about your kindness initiative that you've developed?
Oh, we just felt like with everything happening in the world and the kind of dialogues happening, it was really time to put out a hopeful message. And Cultivate Kindness was one we'd been talking about internally, and we just felt like, gosh, it's time. Yeah. So we've started what we're calling sort of inspiration totes. We actually just 2 days ago launched another one called Women on a Mission, really celebrating our fellow women on a mission, whether they're moms or philanthropists or news anchors, we're all on our own little missions every day.
Sometimes people don't realize the personal power that they might have by just taking action, and when you do, it really is so gratifying.
It is, and you never know what small thing, like I just had an idea for a burlap bag. Who would have thought? We are almost, we're at 95 million meals we've been able to give so far.
That's impressive.
Through that one burlap bag idea.
And that's 10 years counting then?
10 years counting.
Now, some of these products, because you do take a different business model, how do people get them? Are you basically web-based? I mean, because people are used to shopping in different ways now.
Totally. We are mainly web-based, so feedprojects.com houses all of our products. We're actually just about to launch our first store in Cafe in New York, so that's something new for us.
I can't help but think, though, that you're still so young and you've accomplished a lot, but there's so much potential in your lives to still grow and change as a person, though. Is that just all part of the journey?
Totally, constantly. I think just being an entrepreneur, every day is different, every week is different, every year is different. I've personally grown so much through the experience of starting and growing Feed, and who knows? I think I've obviously found my personal passion, which is design. It's creating, products, creating a brand, but doing it for a greater good.
Lauren Bush Lauren's visit to Southwest Florida was courtesy of the League Club. She was the event speaker at the group's annual luncheon at the Ritz-Carlton in Naples. Despite the age gap, Lauren and the League have a lot in common. This year's gathering marked the League Club's 30th anniversary, and while 30-something Lauren Bush was only a toddler then, she shares many of their attributes. The League is made up of former Junior League members from across the country, professional women who prioritize philanthropy and volunteerism.
We're entirely a volunteer organization and have contributed more than $3.6 million to a variety of very worthy organizations throughout Southwest Florida.
In case you didn't know, cell phones are a huge part of the millennial culture, bordering on obsession. It's all about making a connection. At least that's what a local communications guru says.
Never before have we had access to so much technology where we can actually show what we're doing every day. It just wasn't possible in previous generations.
Microblogging everything they eat, checking in everywhere they go, and the endless stream of selfies.
And your phone probably fills up pretty quickly and you have to go delete those photos or videos.
The millennials' phone addiction is one hang-up we can't get over.
And it can be construed as narcissism because I'm taking a selfie of myself and posting it online as if it's really important. But who am I posting it to? Friends and family? Maybe they want to see that I'm having a great first day at work.
Fortin says technology is a two-way street. We change it, it changes us. Just look at how young adults communicate.
You'll hear from many millennials that they don't like making phone calls and they actually prefer texting or using instant messaging services or even email. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're multitasking. So it's much easier to get a quick message across to somebody rather than having to call them up on the phone.
First to master the digital landscape, millennial preferences have sway. Say, for example, the way emojis have become mainstream.
Oxford Dictionary's word of the year in 2015 was the laughing or crying with tears of joy emoji, which was interesting that that was even considered a word.
Despite being tied up with their phone, millennials amped up their social awareness. Their generation first welcomed Facebook.
Facebook is definitely still one of the biggest platforms for social media. In early reports for 2016, we're seeing that there are still more than 1 billion users, daily active users.
Guess who the biggest group of new users are?
Facebook's largest growing demographic is actually your baby boomer generation rather than millennials.
There's a perception that young people disengage once their parents catch on.
Because one generation is on social media does not drive another one out. However, different generations are attracted to different things that these platforms offer.
Translation: you're setting up a Facebook account didn't send your kids packing. Instead of sharing with a large virtual community, millennials may actually be downsizing.
They're really attracted to things like Snapchat and all of these other kind of quick types of things like Vines. And so privacy has actually been brought up, and they're kind of learning from millennials that maybe we shouldn't post something forever online, and maybe we should have these smaller interactions.
Their phone obsession may drive you crazy, but millennials may not be as disconnected as you think.
One interesting study showed that with the prevalence of online communities, we're actually seeing less feelings of isolation and loneliness and increased perceptions of social support.
At its best, technology is empowering, and millennials are mastering their domain.
If you look at it in a positive way, we're actually the content creators of the digital archive of our lives.
Still to come, our Positively Healthy Medical series zeroes in on the gold standard cancer screener. Stay with us.
Often, if you find colon cancer at an early stage, surgical resection of that cancer is curative.
Life here is amazing, and so is the joint care. At the Total Joint Center at Physicians Regional Healthcare System, we've changed the experience of joint replacement for good. With our comprehensive joint care program, most hip and knee replacement patients return home in just 2 days, because we know you want to get on with your active life. Pain-free living starts at Physicians Regional Medical Center, Collier Boulevard, and Physicians Regional Medical Center, Pine Ridge.
Hiring the right moving company is important. Best Moving and Storage is a family-owned and operated business serving Southwest Florida for over 22 years. From our free in-home estimate until the last piece of furniture is in your new place or stored in our climate-controlled warehouse, we treat you like family. Best Moving and Storage is fully licensed and insured, with all of our employees being certified drivers and packers. When it comes to protecting your treasured belongings, choose a company that's experienced and trustworthy. Call Best Moving and Storage today at 239-592-6565.
My name is Steve Unser, and cabinetry is my specialty. I have been creating custom designed cabinetry for 20 years in Southwest Florida, and now I am celebrating the grand opening of our new Naples showroom. Steve Unser Cabinetry will help you design your kitchen, bath, or home office with stunning results, offering the best quality of cabinets with a wide variety of design options and pricing to fit any budget. If your kitchen isn't becoming to you, you should be coming to us. Now, 2 locations to serve you.
There are far too few success stories when it comes to cancer, but the colonoscopy certainly deserves being named MVP. March is Colorectal Awareness Month, so we're taking a look at this potential lifesaver in this week's Positively Healthy. One could make the case the colonoscopy is a vastly underrated procedure. It's the only screener which can detect and treat cancer in a single sweep.
It's done under light sedation, and we take a small camera and we look up in the colon for little growths in the colon called polyps. Unmanaged, those polyps could lead to cancer down the road, so we remove them before they cause any issues.
Less invasive tests also look for polyps, but unlike the colonoscopy, they are powerless to do anything. Despite its potential, the test often gets a bad rap.
The preparation is probably the most unpleasant part of it. What it does is it clears out your GI tract so that when we go in with the camera, we get a good look.
Even with such a reliable tool, colon cancer remains the third most common cancer in this country and the third most deadly. Doctors recommend people with average risk get scoped at age 50, but there are notable exceptions.
Patients who have a family history of colon cancer or colon polyps should get screened 10 years prior to their first degree relative's diagnosis, which sounds a little complicated, but usually it's around age 40.
It's essential that you listen to your body.
If you've had a sudden change of your daily habits, you suddenly get diarrhea that isn't going away, constipation that's not going away, or any blood or some weight loss.
Increased awareness is slowly moving the needle. Colon cancers are now being picked up sooner.
Often if you find colon cancer at an early stage, surgical resection of that cancer is curative.
There's still work to be done. More than 24 million Americans who should have a colonoscopy won't. A gold standard procedure, it has great value when it's used.
And it's such a rarity to have a screening tool that can do so much and eliminate the risk.
Absolutely. It's one of the most preventable cancers.
Popping into the newsroom, our mostly millennial reporters have scoops and tips about the stories they're working on. Here's On the Beat.
Thanks, Amy. This week we're going to be looking into Collier County's park system. We have two major projects that are going to be moving forward. We have a big $60 million park that commissioners hope to build in Golden Gate Estates, and another $60 to $100 million park that they're hoping to build out by I-75. The big question is they still don't know exactly how they're going to pay for these. With over $120 million at least coming on the books pretty soon, commissioners are going to have to decide if they're going to raise the tourist tax or if they're going to find a way to borrow money and help pay for these later. To learn more about it, look at naplesnews.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Eric Statz. I'm the environment reporter for the Naples Daily News. I wanted to tell you about a story I'm working on this week having to do with something called the National Wildlife Refuge Fund. It's intended to pay counties payments in lieu of taxes for wildlife refuges they have within their borders. Collier County has 2 wildlife refuges but gets paid only 25% of what it's owed through this fund. Find out more about this story and how Lee County fares by going to naplesnews.com.
Hi, I'm Shelby Reynolds. I'm a features reporter at the Naples Daily News, and I'm working on a story about a woman named Trisha Gogan. She is one of the food demonstrators at one of the Publix here in Naples, and she goes all out with her presentations and her recipes. She makes all the recipes herself, and you can find the story about how she does it and why she's so popular in print on Friday or online at naplesnews.com.
Okay, his commentaries never get old. Brent Batten is back with a commentary this week.
Thanks, Amy. By now, you've probably heard that the thimble is being retired from the game of Monopoly. For you millennials, a thimble is a metal cap people used to put on their fingers so they wouldn't poke themselves when sewing. You're probably expecting me, the old guy who hates change, to rant about tradition and what a shame it is that these young punks are ruining the game, and the country for that matter. But I'm not. I'm glad they're doing away with the thimble. How did the thimble get to be a game piece to begin with? A race car? Sure. A battleship? You bet. But a thimble? A thimble has as much business moving around a board, buying properties, passing go, collecting $200, and going to jail as an iron, which, come to think of it, was also a game piece until it was retired in 2013. So all in all, it seems to me that the game is moving in the right direction. Hasbro, the company that makes Monopoly, is conducting a poll to come up with a candidate to replace the thimble. Among the nominees are a T-Rex, a hashtag, and a cell phone. The results are to be officially announced on March 19th, but thanks to a friend over at PricewaterhouseCoopers, I've got the winner right here. May I have the envelope, please? The winner for Best New Token in the Monopoly game is Moonlight.
Coming up, a new way to enjoy your brew. Flavor Drops promise to amp up a bland beer. They're made locally and coming to stores near you. That's ahead on Behind the Headlines.
It's Bear's 71st anniversary sale. Bear's is celebrating with half off, plus more on beautiful Bernhardt designs. Shop now and get this genuine all-leather reclining sofa and love seat, just $29.97. How about this Bernhardt queen bed or table? Your choice, only $9.97. Don't miss this classically designed Thomasville bed, just $8.99. This stylish dining table, only $6.97. Bear's 71st anniversary sale.
The area's only 30 minutes or less ER service pledge means you'll find less waiting for the care you need. And because we're full service hospitals, a lot more care if you need it. Less waiting, faster care. Only at Physicians Regional Healthcare System.
Is your auto insurance keeping pace with your life? Ask for a AAA Triple Check Insurance Review to see if your current policy is still a good fit. An agent will assess changes in your life, like new vehicles or drivers. Make sure you've got the right coverage and all the discounts you deserve. They'll also see how a AAA membership can round out your protection on the road. Plus, provide roadside assistance, discounts, free services, and vacation extras. Ask for your AAA Triple Check today.
Whether it's a family meal, a holiday gathering, or a friendly dinner party, a properly designed dining space makes a world of difference. Our experts have the space planning tips you need to set yourself up for entertaining. Here's this week's Inspired Living. As you begin to put together your ideal eating space, it's critical to work from the ground up. Your room's floor plan helps determine table choice.
Because without measurements, we can't figure out what size is going to work.
Once you've covered size, you'll want to hone in on what shape of table best fits your space.
And if it's a kind of a long, narrow room, you almost have to do a rectangular. A round would look a little silly in a really long rectangular room like that. Round works really well in more of a square space.
Most common seating arrangements include 6 guests, but tables may expand for 8 or more. You'll want to make sure the space isn't too tight, allowing people room to spread out.
From the edge of the table out, a minimum of 24 inches. That's just to be able to pull the chairs in and out. And then if you have a server or something like that, you need another 2 feet.
Once the table is set, it's time to turn attention to chairs.
I don't like to match all the chairs, especially the head chairs. I will almost always try and do something different, whether it's fully upholstered, skirted, a completely different chair, a tufted chair mixed with open wood back chairs.
Since we started at the bottom, we'll finish at the top.
I think in a dining space, lighting is key. So not only figuring the space and what kind of table you're going to use, but then you have to use the proper light fixture.
Most times it's a chandelier or pendant, ideally secured 32 inches from the tabletop to the base of the fixture. It finishes the space. In this age of casual living, a dedicated dining room sets the stage for memorable entertaining.
If you've got the space for a nice big table, it is very nice, and people like to gather.
A Naples businessman is banking on millennials to help boost his bottom line. He's manufacturing flavor drops to enhance a basic brew. Mad Hops Beer Drops is meant to transform the taste of beer. Founder Peter Hanley believes his product will find a following with millennials who appreciate craft brew flavor without craft brew prices.
You take a normal beer just like this, you put a squirt of Mad Hops in the bottom, and you just simply add a beer.
Laura Layden covered this story for the Daily News. She says Hanley got the idea after seeing young family members flavoring water. He started mixing ingredients himself and eventually found a manufacturer in Naples to bottle the product. You can find Laura's full story by searching Mad Hops at naplesnews.com. Finally, it took 7 decades, that's 70 years, to create a story like this. A storybook love story of a Naples couple celebrating a long life together. This was put together by Daily News photojournalist Katie Clan.
I only went out once and I asked her to marry me.
Well, I remember his jacket. I thought he was really adorable. But I didn't think of dating him or anything.
Is that the green jacket?
I think it was a green jacket. I love that jacket. And I mean, I was very surprised when he called, actually. And you said, this is Chris Crossett. And I remember saying, oh, Chris, and I should have said, who? Who is this? But I didn't. I immediately said.
How many years ago was that?
72 years ago, probably.
So you're thinking about what you should have said 72 years ago.
So we were married at 20 and 23, and when I was 24, we had our first child in 1950.
A great note to close the show on. Thank you for making us part of your day. You can always rewatch or catch up on past shows by logging on to naplesnews.com. On the left-hand side under Quick Links, select Behind the Headlines. I'm Amy Osher. See you back here next week.